Welcome to Radio Today broadcasting in Johannesburg on 1485 AM and nationally on DSTV Audio Channel 869.
Conversations with Niki is brought to you by studyapps.co.za, South Africa's leading education app for tablets. Welcome, welcome. Conversations with Niki. I'm Niki Seberini, and thank you so much for tuning in. It's great to be with you. And yet another show with another interesting conversation. I'd like to welcome our syndication partner listeners. That's Eldo's FM, Chai FM, Kawi FM in Port Alfred, West Coast FM in Namibia, 90.3 MC, that's in Plet, Knysna FM, Wild Coast FM in East London, and Bay FM in PE. Great to have you all on board. And also, just a reminder to visit the website, www.conversationswithniki.co.za, one word, Niki spelled N-I-K-I. And all the shows are podcasts, and all the links are on that website. And thanks for the emails. Please continue with those emails. I really do enjoy hearing from you. And just a reminder that you can be a winner of a Colpad 2. And if you're still wondering what a Colpad 2 is, well, it's an Android tablet. And you can join the world of tablet users or iPad users, although this is an Android tablet. And it is a 7-inch and it has Wi-Fi. And it's very simple to win it, because all you have to do is go to my Facebook page and like it. So it's facebook.com, Conversations with Niki. Like it, and you stand in line to win that Colpad 2. Now, you know, it was earlier this year when Patrice Motsepe announced that he would be joining the Giving Pledge, which was launched by Microsoft founder Bill Gates and investor Warren Buffett. That's when you give away half of your personal wealth. And South Africa they were overwhelmed, really. I suppose a lot of people ask the question, is it something that you publicize or isn't it? And there just seems to be an incredible spirit, an incredible wave worldwide where people who are known, politicians, celebrities, sportsmen, who are really putting the power of their celebrity status behind a cause. So you have people like George Clooney and Bono and Angelina Jolie, and these international causes are brought to your attention and my attention because of their celebrity status. And I'm so delighted to say that in South Africa, that's also, I mean, it's very clearly happening. I get emails all the time of celebrities who are doing phenomenal things. So today is going to be a very interesting day because we're focusing on two sportsmen. These are men who have really mastered not only their bodies but their minds as well. And they're dedicating some of their time to helping others. So on the show today, I'd like to welcome Stanton Fredericks, former Bafana Bafana player. Hi, Stanton.
Hi, Niki, and good day to the listeners.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I'd also like to welcome Gareth McLellan, Soldier Boy MMA champ. Hi, Gareth.
Hi there, how are you doing?
Thanks for joining us. But you're more than an MMA champ. It's also, it's an extreme sports. What's it called? It's called...
Well, I mean, it's mixed martial arts, and it's basically a sport that is made up of various disciplines. So we don't just concentrate on one thing. There is probably, in my case, about 6 or 7 different disciplines that I train to formulate MMA.
MMA, which is growing. Which is growing in this country. Massively. Okay, well, we're going to come back to that because we're going to hear exactly, because you didn't start off doing MMA. I mean, you were on the rugby field, and it's quite interesting because Stanton was on the soccer field, and it's just where your careers take you. But I mean, Stanton, you played for Bafana Bafana. I mean, you've been a professional soccer player for what, 17 years?
That's correct. 17 long, joyful, sacrifice years. Yes.
Joyful. Did you always want to be a soccer player?
Just a bit of my background is I come from humble beginnings, and basically that's a poor man's game. You either do boxing or you play football.
Oh, really?
And I chose soccer, kind of like forced upon me, and I was blessed to have the opportunity to see different things through football.
Who encouraged you, though? Because you need encouragement. It takes a lot of time and dedication.
And when I say humble beginnings, I'm not overplaying it, because yes, I did have the support base with my mum, with my family. There's a history of football in my family, so the support base was there, and that obviously helps a lot.
And who saw the real champion side of you? I mean, my kids do soccer, and I find it quite amusing standing on the side of the pitch and watching parents, and there's kind of a glint in each father's eye because they think that in their son is the next, I don't know, David Beckham. But who saw that in you?
You know what? It's a combination of things. It has to come from you because there comes a stage in your life where you know if you're good enough or not.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a coach that identifies that, and when you have a parent that would go to any mile to assist you in fulfilling your dream, that's always important. So I think there were coaches along the way, together with my mom.
Were there particular mentors who had an impact on you and how you behaved?
Definitely my mom. You know, being a single parent and an only child, she dedicated her life to me, and that would always be my mentor.
And how about you, Gareth? I mean, you started off playing rugby.
Well, yeah, I had a long rugby career playing top flight rugby, club rugby in Durban. I then looked to play at a provincial level. Kind of didn't happen for me, and that took me into MMA. I've been very fortunate. I've had a lot of good people around me that have pushed me in the right direction and always wanted to see the best from me. The family support has been amazing. My family has supported me from the get-go, and it's kind of hard, you know. No parent really wants to see their kid get hurt, but my parents were happy that I was doing what I loved, and they backed me 100%. You know, my team is amazing. My coaches were unbelievable from start until now. So yeah, I've been very, very blessed to have an amazing support structure around me, and it's just made it that much easier.
But I mean, to take rugby, because we'll get to the MMA, but to take rugby and then decide to take it to provincial level, again, I mean, you talk about a lot of support, but who recognized in you that you had the potential? Because it takes a lot of time. I mean, this is practice, this is time, this is money, someone had to see that potential in you. Was it a coach? Was it a teacher who said to your parents, listen, he has extraordinary talent?
Well, look, yeah, like Stanton said, there comes a time in your career where you feel that you can either make it or you can't. And I got to that stage, and fortunately at that time there were people around me that said, you know, this is something you could be successful at, and there's certain areas that you need to work on, and you could have a long career in it. You know, I took their advice, and I followed my heart, and I went after a dream. My dream shifted quite drastically. Yeah,
because you were with the Natal Rugby Union. I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, I'd spent some time with him, developing myself as from one position to another, and that was the ultimate goal. But it kind of just strayed, and it went completely into something else.
Because you had a coach when you were there.
Yeah,
and he was an MMA coach as well, wasn't he?
He was basically the fitness coach that was in charge of making sure the guys' conditioning was up to scratch, and I spent time with him, and he realized that there was some potential in me, and he said to me that it was something that I needed to, I should try or have a look at, and I was a bit hesitant in the beginning, but once I got involved more and tried it and went after it, you know, it's been the most amazing ride. It's been the most amazing journey.
I mean, mixed martial arts, there are a lot of different arts to learn. I mean, wasn't that overwhelming? And were you even interested in that before, ever, throughout your life?
Well, I mean, I'd done martial arts for a long period of time from a young boy. I was like any kid. Parents sent them off to karate to get some discipline, and so it wasn't something new to me. But competing at the level that I am now, you know, that was never at any stage anything that I'd done. It took some getting used to, and it took a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication, a lot of long hours. But you know, it's something that has been, like I say, it's just been incredible. It's been, I thank God every day for the journey that I've taken.
Stanton, I mean, you also were saying that you feel so blessed and you feel so privileged to have been able to have the career that you've had. What has soccer enabled you to do in your life?
First and foremost, it's blessed me that I can change the lives of my two kids that I run now have. That's number one, and just putting it out there that the blessing comes from above. It's not the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And firstly, my surroundings growing up, you could easily fall into being a drug peddler or be a victim to violence. So what football done for me was, as Gareth said, it gives you the discipline, you know. It gives you that, after school, I'm going to play soccer, not I'm going to try to get up to mischief. So number one, it guided me away from the bad things. Secondly, you know, I've played in 3 different countries, Switzerland, Russia, and Greece. I can communicate, I won't say I speak, but I can communicate Russian, and I can communicate in Greek.
Oh, fantastic. 2 very, very difficult languages.
Definitely. I mean, my luck, it wasn't Spanish or French, but anyway, you know, seeing different cultures, it opens up. Anybody that travels or traveled knows that it opens up your mind and you look at things differently. And I think that's what I've been taken from my travels.
Was it when South Africa, where Bafana Bafana played England,
Yes.
And you won man of the match?
Yes.
Unfortunately, Bafana Bafana lost. I think it was 2-1. Am I right?
Yeah, 100%.
And you were man of the match. I mean, you were playing opposite players like David Beckham and Frank Lampard. And
Yes.
I mean, how was that for you? Would you say that was the height of your career? Was that something that you look back on with fond memories?
Yes, definitely. You know, obviously in South Africa we are exposed to English football. So besides the local football, I've idolized these people for my entire life. So having the chance to play against them is like your ultimate test. Are you good enough? Will you ever go to Europe? Now, just remembering that I was playing locally for Kaizer Chiefs at the time, and I can still remember the night before the game, I just could not sleep. Because having to come up against Michael Owen, Steven Gerrard, and the likes of Beckham is nerve-wracking. So when I got out there, you know, Gareth will contest to this, that when you step onto the field, everything switches off and you're focused on your game. And obviously I played out of my socks, and that afforded me the opportunity to go to Europe as well.
And when you were named man of the match?
Yes, then obviously the interest comes from England,
Yeah.
and that's what you want all your life.
Stanton, you spoke about going onto the field and everything quietens and you focus on playing the game. How important has that been in your career? Because going on the pitch and practicing and running and watching your diet is one thing, but working on the mind and having a control over fear, you know, that inner voice speaking, how important was that in your training?
I think that's the most important thing, because Gareth again will know that. You have training players and you have match day players, you know. And for you to go to the next level, to represent your country or to play elsewhere or to maintain your career at a professional level, you need to be able to take your training and your preparation onto game day. And game day will determine your ultimate, success in your various sports.
And for you, Gareth, I mean, how important is the mind? Because, I mean, I know how physical MMA is. So, I mean, that goes without say, that you're spending hours and hours just getting hard and strong. But from a mental aspect?
Well, look, I mean, I'm a guy who follows sports, and I love sports, and I can watch anything. You know, sports is such an amazing thing, and it can really change the lives of anybody. And if you look at any great players, they have mastered the art to be able to perform day in, day out on the practice field, on the match field, with having a great mind. Players of today, if you look around, are all about being flamboyant. No matter what the sport is, it's image, it's flamboyancy, it's who looks better doing what they're doing. The real players, the real workers, the real success stories are those guys that give themselves everything all day, every day, and then are able to take it in, like Stanton said, take it onto the field, or take it into the ring, or take it onto the tennis court, or in the pool, and have that mind space just to actually take yourself to another level and beyond, and break boundaries. And those are the true success stories. Those are the guys that will be around long after they leave the sport.
But what makes him stand out? And is it something that you can practice?
Well, look, yeah, I mean, you anything is trainable, but it's a belief in yourself, and it's a belief in what you are capable of doing. You need to trust yourself. You made a decision to be there, and you need to have faith in what you're doing, and just go for it.
Do you have moments of visualization? They talk about the power of visualization. A while ago, I spoke to Professor Tim Noakes, and I just found it fascinating because he feels that the mind plays such a huge role in the outcome. And I spoke to him just before the Olympic Games last year, and he was saying, any person who embarks on I don't know, whatever sport they've decided to take on, however they start that sport, if they decide that they are going to win, and if they really, really believe that they are going to win, the chances are they can win. Like doubt can play a very, very big role in the outcome, and I just found that very interesting. From your point of view, I mean, you've had many successes. Do you go on when you go into the ring, and are you saying to yourself, "I've won this, it's mine"?
Well, look, for me, I believe that my preparation is about 30% of what I do, and the rest is all mental. I spend a large amount of time with a neuro-linguistic programmer. So, yeah, mentally, my mind has to be 100% perfect. I don't have time to have fear or doubt or disbelief in myself. I need to make sure that my mind is 100% on the job at hand. The moment that you allow emotions or distractions to get in the way is the time that you're going to fall short. For me, I do a lot of role play. On a continuous daily. How
does that work?
Well, 2 to 3 weeks before the fight, I will go through my process from the time that I leave my home in the morning till the time that I say my victory speech at the end of the night, and I'll play that out millions of times in my head up until the night.
How clearly? Like clear, you see that vision.
It's got to be like you in the fight. It's got to be like it's the day. So that when you get through the day, there's no surprises. It needs to play exactly out to how you played it in your head. And if you keep that belief and you keep working on it day in and day out and day in and day out, you will find that the results will work out exactly like you pictured in your mind.
Incredible. Do you get distracted?
No.
No,
there's no time for that, unfortunately.
Okay. Stanton, I hear you smiling, sort of laughing in the background. I mean, how do you feel when you hear Gareth's absolute, I mean, that 70% mental commitment?
I obviously, martial arts takes much more mental preparation, because I switch off like an hour before the game. With football, it's a bit different because your mates are calling you for tickets, your wife's calling you last minute. So my wife knows, and this is without knowing. On match day, I don't like to be troubled. You SMS me your good luck wishes, and my phone goes on silent. So, which is not the norm for soccer players. They, like Gareth said, they're very flamboyant. Your mates are coming to the game, blah, blah, blah. Everybody approaches your preparation differently with soccer. Others would listen to music or whatever. But myself, there's no communication. You SMS me. An hour before the game, I'll switch off and I would visualize. If I was a winger most of my career. So you're obviously the right wing or the left wing. I'm up against the left back or the right back. And I would know whom I'm playing against, and I would prepare for him. If I know he's good on his left, I'm going to attack his right. If I know he's good on the right, I'll do the opposite. So there's definitely a mental preparation from my side when I was a professional, because you do know that I'm retired now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and we're going to talk about that because we want to know exactly what you're up to. So I suppose it's different when you're doing something, as you said, martial arts, or even if you're playing tennis because you're on your own, or if you're playing golf or whatever it is, you're on your own. And when you're with a team, although you are on your own, you're playing as a part of a team. So do you feel the team spirit? In other words, can you feel the energy? Do you feel this collective energy when the team goes onto the field that, yes, we're in a winning spirit today? Or we may not necessarily be. And have you ever felt that turn in a game?
Yes, you can feel that. It starts in the dressing room now. As Africans, what we do is we sing before the game. And sometimes the voices are just not there. And then the captain or the coach or somebody would say, hey guys, come on, let's wake up. Let's get a bit of life, you know. And you can definitely feel it. You go 1-0 down. You can see the guys drop their heads, and you can feel it. But there's leaders in the team that's going to have to pick them up. And after one good moment, you could see everybody's pumped up. We start talking. Everybody's pulling in the same direction. And with a team, it's definitely more a sense of feeling. You can feel when the morale is low or when the morale is high.
I suppose if you do something wrong and you feel like you've let your team down, that takes a lot to talk yourself back up into that game again.
Yes.
Did that happen? Did that happen a lot?
You have the coaches coming down on you.
Yeah.
So when the coach is coming down on you, you obviously, the teammates are aware of it. Okay, you're letting us down. You need to come to the party. But there's no time for that. You need to deal with your game on your own, you know, and everything else around you will affect you or will not affect you.
Going into the game, knowing 100% that you're going to win, has that happened to you? Have you, again, I'm saying that it's far more challenging because you're going as part of a team, but have you had that, and have you had that spirit going into that game and walking off victorious?
Yes, that's football all the time, you know. I was fortunate enough to be playing at Kaizer Chiefs, where we were a very good team, and we won everything that was up for the taking, you know, for 3 years. And there's a sense of feeling with the guys to say, guys, even when we go 1-0 down, we're going to win this, you know, because it's the confidence that has been built over time. The guys are together for a long time. The spirit is good enough. You know your ability. You're winning cups. So that belief, that mental strength of believing and knowing that you can win is there most of the time.
And Stanton, what about the ego, and what about the status, the soccer status? I mean, we see it, you know, overseas, and certainly with the football in the UK, you know, they have this incredible celebrity status. Yes. Do you think this affects the way you play, and can it affect a morale within a team?
I definitely think it can, but I think in the UK it's a bit more intense. When you become a professional footballer, your social life disappears. You know, you cannot go out to a restaurant normally. You'll have to choose where it's a bit low-key. So that changes your life. And obviously, the way you perform is the way your week is going. Let's say you play for a big team like Manchester United, and you had a bad game. Because it's very similar to Kaizer Chiefs. You play one game, you guys don't do well. I can't go to the garage, because the attendants are all over me.
Oh, really?
Hey, why do you do this, that? So your performance would map your life for the next week until the next game, and that's how intense it can get.
And the perhaps the desire or maybe the temptation to escape from it all, partying, drinking, drugging, is it big? Is there a lot of that?
Definitely. I think there's a different dynamic in South Africa. There's a township culture where that, without you knowing, you, like I say, you overindulge elsewhere. If it be alcohol, if it be women. In the UK, there's gambling, you know, so psychologically, there's a big element to football players that we haven't addressed.
You think that's a big problem?
It's a major problem. The first time you speak about Tim Noakes, we went to the Olympics in 2000 in Sydney. So leading up to that, we went to the Sports Science Institute in Cape Town, which was a first. They would check us from head to toe, including your diet, your physical well-being, and then we seen a psychologist, which was my first encounter with the mental approach to the game.
Yeah.
And the psychologist asks you, where was your best game? What did you do before that? What did you do this? How did you do that? How did you deal with failure? And that was the first time I realized that there is a psychological aspect to the game. And since then, I've implemented it.
Oh, yeah. And what about you, Gareth? I mean, you know, you're working hard. We spoke off air about the kind of training that you put in, hours and hours, and you dedicated to that. Is there time out to take it easy, to have a social life?
Well, look, you know, I spend most of my year flat out and training hard and in camps and helping other guys prepare for camps. You know, we might not be a team sport in terms of being in the cage together, but we have a team, and we work very hard.
The team working together
Well,
for
yeah,
preparation. Is that what you mean?
We have a team that we prepare with constantly. There is other fighters in my stable, so we need to make sure they're also getting the same that I'm getting. So you work hard all the time, and you actually just get into the zone, and before you realize what's happened, a year's gone, 9 months, 10 months has gone by, and you haven't really done anything. We make sure that we have a small break now over the December period, where it's just spent with family and Christmas time, and guys just get to relax. We sometimes go overseas. Most of my team has gone to Thailand for a few weeks. I stayed behind to spend some time with the family and just relax. But then it's back in the grind straight away, and we'll work hard for another year again. It's vitally important to take a break and pull yourself out of that mindset and that circle. If you don't, you will find yourself suffering from burnout, and you will find that you'll pick up injuries a lot quicker, and the body just will start to fatigue. So it's vitally important that you take some time out and relax, and it's also very important the way that you spend your rest time. To go out and go crazy and be partying all the time and that kind of stuff is not good for the body. It's just hurting it. So get some good rest, some sleep. Spend some quality time with the people that you need to, and just rejuvenate, and then get ready for the next season or the starting of the new year.
Mixed martial arts is growing, as we said at the beginning, rapidly here in South Africa. There is this huge support, and you're part of this fantastic wave. So is there, this culture, I just described the culture of the football culture, of these football players and the brands and the attachments and the kind of salaries you're earning and how people perceive you. Is that where MMA is going, do you think?
Well, look, yeah, it's been this crazy ride. I mean, when we first started MMA, it was something that was held in small venues, and on the beach in a tent, and it was very, very small crowds of maybe 200-300 people. And then all of a sudden, this group of guys came along, and the Howard brothers, and they put together EFC Africa, and it has just skyrocketed, going from being in these small tents to being watched on the world level. We have massive followership. A fight night can be viewed in most countries around the world. So you're not only being watched on a local level, you're being watched on an international level. You've got sporting programs like SuperSport that are now backing, which is a massive thing for us. All of a sudden, going from nobody knows you to everybody knowing you in the streets, being stopped in restaurants, as Stanton would say, in the shopping centre, somebody wants an autograph, somebody wants a picture, and it can be very overwhelming. We need to understand that it's part of the job, and you are nothing without your fans, so you need to spend the time with them, and then you need to make sure that you show them the love that they show you, just keep a level head. Know that it's not there forever. It's there for the time that you do what you do, and just stay composed and be smart. Be smart about what you're doing. Don't let yourself get caught up, because it can become a very ugly ride.
And what do you think it is about MMA that is so appealing? This cage fighting, these people in this small environment and fighting, and it's quite it's raw fighting.
Well, if you look at it, gladiators have been around for centuries. So, and it's always been something that has been created massive exposure, and people have loved. I just think there's something in it for everybody. I can't say exactly what each individual is, but I just think that each person that comes and watches and gets attracted to the sport just finds something in the sport that they can relate to. Whether it be the athletes, whether it be the dedication, whether it just be the fight, whether it be a young boy seeing a guy who they can look up to and aspire to be like, whether it just be an entertainment value for people. I'm not 100% sure, and it's unreal the success that it's had, but there's something there, and there's something that everybody is attracted to, and I think it's just something that's going to keep growing and keep growing and keep growing, And I'm very proud to be a part of it, and very, very proud to be somebody who's helped the sport grow in this country.
Fantastic. Okay, listen, we're going to take a break, and after the break we're going to start talking about the work that Stanton, you just recently did with the Continental Run to Stop, and also Gareth with you, because I can't miss that, what is that, a mauve?
A Movember.
What are you wearing on your face exactly?
It's called a Movember.
You and all the other men this time of the year. So let's take a break, and then let's talk about going beyond self and helping others.
Hi, my name is Esvia Prinsloo, and I'm the HOD of IT Integration at Bridwin Preparatory School in Melrose. We started using study apps about 6 months ago and have seen astonishing results. We were quite amazed to see how quickly the kids have been able to use study apps and the benefits it has shown with regards to reinforcing what they've already learned inside the classroom. I would highly recommend study apps for any school.
Studyapps.co.za. And welcome back. And if you have just tuned in, this is Conversations with Niki. I'm Niki Seberini. It's great to be with you. We're having such an interesting conversation with Stanton Fredericks, former Bafana Bafana player, and Gareth McLellan, Soldier Boy MMA champ. And we're just talking about sport and the body and the mind and just going beyond self and helping. Before we get there, though, I'd like to just welcome our syndication partner listeners. That's Bay FM, that is Wild Coast FM, Neisner FM, 90.3 MC, West Coast, Kawi, Eldos, and Chai FM. And also just a reminder to visit our website, www.conversationswithniki.co.za, to get the podcast and to win a cold pad too. So I'd like to know from you, Stanton, because I know that after 17 years of playing professionally, you have retired, and that could not have been an easy decision.
Yes, not
to
easy
walk
at all.
away from something that's brought you so much joy.
You know, it's so difficult because you always want to go another year and another year. But the clever thing to do is, especially in football, people remember you. You're as good as your last game, you know. And when I came back from Greece, I was planning to play one more year, and that was it. I played the year. I played most of the games. And the coach called me, which was Roger Desai at the time, and he says, listen, let's play another year. So I said, okay, I'll do another year. Second year, still playing, doing well. He says, let's go another year. And I went another year, and I had a stop-start season. You know, a bit of injuries here, injuries there.
Yeah.
And the body talks to you, you know. And then I just realized, I said, you know, you've been blessed to play this long. I think your body's talking to you now. And let's give the youngsters a chance coming up. The last 6 months I never played. I was more of a mentor to the guys, training, speaking, you know, a bit of leadership for the youngsters. And that's when I said, okay, I had enough.
Sure. Not an easy decision.
Not easy at all, because like we said, the psychological part of it is you wake up every day, you go to training, you come back.
Yeah.
For 17 years.
Yeah.
This drastic change.
How do you come to terms with that, Stanton?
I'm still dealing with it
Are
because
you?
it's been 6 months since I've stopped.
Yeah.
Now, I've been fortunate enough to keep busy because I had a share in a company, and I'm now more involved in the company, you know. But I will be a footballer till I die.
Well, I think you'll continue. I mean, we're going to continue to hear. I suppose you've just got to see yourself within a different role.
Yes.
I don't think we really appreciate how difficult it is for professional sportsmen, because it's actual changes, they're real conscious changes that you have to make. And you know, it's within a shorter period of time.
Yes.
So it just can't be easy. So I can only imagine that when you were asked to take part in the Continental Run to Stop, that you must have been excited, or not. How did you feel about the fact that you were going to be put back into a team and competing, but helping people at the same time?
You know, having said that, I've been doing, whenever I was in South Africa, I do a lot of CSI projects, you know. So, yes, I was excited to be part of it. And to be part of a team also, you know, you just fit right in. It's the norm. So I was in my comfort zone.
So tell us how it works. What is this Continental Run to Stop?
what basically happens is it's been around for the last 4 years, and Continental gives back. But I think obviously with the World Cup next year, it was a perfect scenario where they could include a prize to go to the World Cup and at the same time give back. So what happened was there was 3 elements to the competition. You had cyclists, you had runners, and the CSI project would be with a soccer player, a rugby player, and a blogger. So on the day starts, it was a 5-day competition.
Yeah.
The cyclists would have their distance, and that would count as a point. The runners would run a certain distance, and that would count for a point. And the CSI, we would go to a safety house or a home that needed something. So we'd build cupboards, we'd build jungle gyms, we'd pack food packs for Stop Hunger, and this was a competition. So the one team is myself, Khobani Bobo, and a blogger.
Yeah.
And the other team is PSP, Human Machine, Jimmy Tao, soccer player, and a blogger. So basically, when you're up against PSP, you're going to lose everything. So,
I'd hate to be up against him.
So on the CSI project, we managed to get 1 win, and they won 5 of the days.
Oh.
But fortunately enough, our runners and our cyclists won. They dominated their competition, so we ended up winning. But the most important thing about the Continental Run to Stop was the CSI element to it, where you'd go to a home and we'd paint, we'd build vegetable gardens.
Oh, how
we'd
wonderful.
build cupboards. We'd speak to the pupils, and that aspect is the most important part of the project, and to be part of it and not being a soccer player now gives you the opportunity to give back.
Was it a life-changing experience for you?
Definitely. We built a jungle gym at the one house, and at this specific house is a husband and a wife, a very small place, and they look after 13 kids that have been abandoned.
Sure.
13.
Gee.
Now, these are the real angels on our earth, and the fact that Continental could identify the need and give back that's what we need to do as South Africans, That's what we need to be. It needs to be a culture of giving. And as you said just before we started the interview, that it seems like people are starting to do that, but we need to do more of it.
I mean, we were just talking about the celebrity status and, the dangers that can come with it. But look at the positives. I mean, for you to be able to put your name and for the other participants to put their name behind something like this and to go into someone's home and to build a jungle gym and all these kids are going to have something to do must be so gratifying and so rewarding, and it's a win-win for everyone, really.
100%. And I think it's your duty. Before Gareth started out with rugby, he didn't know what he's going to end up doing and the lives he's going to impact. And the fact that you can go from being a rugby player to a MMA, that just shows the desire and the want and the will. And with that comes responsibility, because you have to now be the example for the rest of the people, and
because you have their attention,
exactly.
Don't you?
I mean, you're not. Let's say you're not successful, but you do this for 5 years, and to become a professional in another sport, I don't want to know how much dedication and strength that takes. So you're an example without trying to be an example. You know what I'm saying? And there's a responsibility with that. You need to go out there and explain and share and motivate and give back.
Yeah. And Gareth, for you, because, you're nodding your head, have you always felt this way? Is this, because, Stanton's describing a sense of responsibility.
Well, look, the way that I see it is I've been gifted so many opportunities, so many good things in my life, so many luxuries, all through the hard work that I've achieved and then I've presented and I've worked for. But people out there, they don't get the same opportunities that we do. They're not given the same rewards that we are. We have a voice, and we need to stand up, and we need to use that voice. We need to guide and we need to teach people, as Stanton said, and we need to show them that, you know, there's so much bad in this world. Just one good deed makes a massive difference. It can change the lives of so many. You know, a lot of people walk around every day in their everyday lives, going in from day to the next day, to the next day, to the next day, to the next day, not really contributing or even worrying what's happening outside their circle. For us, you know, we have this voice. We have the ability to say to people, hey, stop, just have a look and listen to people. Look what's happening around you. You know, if we all join hands and we all stand together and we all put a little bit of effort in, we can make a massive difference.
I love that. So why is Movember important to you?
Well, look, I mean, for me, it hit home.
Because just by the way, I mean, November is when men grow these marvelous moustaches. So just for people who don't know what Movember is.
Basically, it's a campaign around educating and growing well to help the Cancer Society. It's a terrible disease that has different forms. Not a lot is known about certain different types of cancer, and we need to help and educate those people. It hit home with me. My aunt in Australia is currently fighting cancer herself, and you know, you kind of go around and you live your life and you do things until something like this is put on your doorstep, and then all of a sudden you stand up and go, okay, wow,
see it differently.
What's going on here? What can I do? You know, I'm not a doctor, so I can't go out there and I can't fix it myself, but I can use what I have to go out and educate people and get people behind it and make people understand that they need to look after themselves. They need to understand what's going on with their body. Don't just walk around thinking that you're invincible, because you're not. Go and get your checks. Lead a healthy lifestyle. Make sure that you cherish what you have. You know, you abuse your body too much, and eventually it's going to catch up with you. It's vitally important to make sure that you live for every day. You look after the body. Get up, do a 5K run. Walk 2Ks even if you have to, you know. Make sure you eat the right foods. No one says that you have to be as strict as what we are in terms of dieting, but make sure that you're not eating the wrong stuff.
Take responsibility.
Yeah, too much of the wrong stuff is going to create a problem somewhere along the line. So for me, it's just about going out there and just saying to the guys, hey, you know, just take the time out, make a little bit of an effort, take the responsibility and look after yourself. Don't put yourself there in the situation where it can affect you and you go, but why? Why didn't I think about it earlier? Why didn't I take the steps to make sure that this didn't happen to me?
Well, I love it. I love that our sportsmen are doing it. I love that all our celebrities here in South Africa are doing it. But it's not just the sportsmen, the celebrities, the big businessmen. You too can do something about it. And I really do think that Gareth put it so brilliantly. We wake up every day and we're in our small little worlds. And how often do we look beyond? And sometimes we think, oh, well, we're helpless. There's nothing we can do. It's one small act of kindness that can just change the world. And I really hope that conversations with Niki inspire you to be the better person and to do those things. So I'd like to thank our guests so much, and hopefully they have inspired you. So Stanton, thank you very, very, very much for coming onto the show, for telling us about the Continental Run to Stop and sharing your life story. And Gareth as well, thank you for your Movember efforts and sharing your story. It's really been a privilege having you both on the show.
Thanks a lot.
So, Stanton Fredericks, former Bafana Bafana player, and Gareth McLellan, Soldier Boy, MMA champion. Wonderful having him on the show. If you've just tuned in, welcome. It's Conversations with Niki Seberini here. Now listen, I don't know about you, but it feels like the year has simply flown past. I mean, one moment it was January and now it's December. And I'm not sure if you're going away. I'm not sure if you're having people to stay or if you're staying at people, how you have celebrations over the December period. Are you going to be doing a lot of entertaining? Because if you are, then just turn the volume up, because we have a huge surprise for you. On the line I have Vicky Sleet, assistant editor and lifestyle editor at Good Housekeeping magazine, and Vicky has some fantastic tips on some decorations, very simple decorations, for a time when you do decide to entertain during this December period. So Vicky, welcome and thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Nikki. It's lovely to hear your voice.
Well, listen, I loved coming to the function on Friday, the Good Housekeeping function with Benny Masekwamang, who is the MasterChef judge. And you had the most wonderful ideas in terms of decorating and getting the table looking beautiful. Perhaps you can share one or two ideas with our listeners.
Oh, thanks, Nikki. Well, I mean, at Good Housekeeping magazine, we really are very much about using what you have. So this festive season, we're very into the mix and match concept, and we really are celebrating positivity. So with that, we're encouraging people to go for the brights. So mix and match with your reds and your magentas and greens and yellows, and this also works really well for indoors and outdoors. So if it's a special lunch, take all your gorgeous crockery that you have, but mix it up with the plastic stuff as well. We don't have to be too precious.
Okay, so we're moving away from really formal.
Absolutely. We really are into informality and lots of fun and lots of positivity.
Lovely.
And then something else that I wanted to tell you about is when you're decorating your table, again, look around and see what you've got at home. I mean, by this time of year, we've all collected so many jars in our home. And one of the things that can really work is if you get a tray full of all those little jam jars you've collected, or perhaps you folks up in Joburg can go to the Woodmead console store, buy up some jars, get a tray, put out a tray, fill it with jars, and have a lovely big jug of icy cocktails or a lovely iced tea. Pop it into those jars, and your guests can help themselves as they arrive.
Or drinking out of the jars. I love that.
Absolutely. All you need is a few stripy straws to make it a really festive and informal experience.
Listen, something else at the console store, which I haven't managed to get my hands on, are those wonderful solar-powered little lights.
Oh, they're fabulous. They are so, I've heard from so many people different ways they're using them. I mean, some people I know use them as night lights for their kids, so they leave them in the hallway. But on the table, it looks so gorgeous, especially when, I mean, we South Africans, we love to entertain at night because at summertime, the weather's so good. If you just put a fake flower or a real flower in the bottom of that jar, it looks beautiful on the table.
And I suppose you can hang them in trees as well, because they've got those little handles.
They've got the handles. They're made for that. They've really been very clever in thinking green, but also thinking what we need and would love to use.
So it's something that you can go and buy and you can use while you're entertaining, and it's practical, as you say, as well, for night lights or whatever, or if the lights go out or however it works.
And of course, if you're camping in December, it's a great
there we
thing
go.
to take along.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
If you're having
we always take ours camping.
Or cocktails which turn to, I don't know, after dinner drinks on the beach, something to take. So Vicky, I mean you're talking about colour and moving away from formal. How about themes? I mean, people are very into themes. Do you think it's necessary, or do you think it's lovely to be eclectic and just put a whole lot of different things together, as you were saying with crockery?
I love eclectic, but something that we've chatted about in the December issue of Good Housekeeping is just that. If you are, eclectic is great, but you do want some kind of a thread going through. So, for example, if you're wrapping your Christmas presents, or if you're just taking hostess gifts to people, perhaps just choose a plain color that you're going to do everything in, and then dolly it up with the different ribbons and what have you. This is also quite cost effective, because if you look in the aisles of your local supermarket, you'll see beautifully plain colored paper, which is in the stationery section, probably for covering school books. But use that and then spend a little bit more on the ribbons, which people, of course, then can keep and use in their own DIY projects later down the line.
And anything else, Vicky, that you'd like to share before we say goodbye?
We're loving paper. We're loving paper to decorate the table, whether it's origami sheets that you pop under vases, whether you are cutting up old music sheets and you're decorating tea lights. And another little trick that you can do is take a wine glass, turn it upside down, pop a candle on the base, and pop a pretty flower where the wine would normally be, and you can put them all down the middle of your table. It looks really, really gorgeous.
Oh, that's beautiful. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to make your tables look gorgeous. I love it.
Look in your cupboards, look at the things you don't use enough, and haul them all out and see how you can play with them on your festive table and when you're socializing.
I love that. Vicky, thank you so much. Thanks for coming onto the show and sharing some of your good housekeeping tips.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, so that was Vicky Sleet, assistant editor and lifestyle editor for the Good Housekeeping magazine. And if you are into crafts and doing things at home, get your hands on that magazine. There are wonderful ideas because, you know, it may not be a religious celebration that you're having over the December holidays, but there is going to be a lot of entertaining. And I do hope that those few little tips help you along the way. Now, I've mentioned that I'm giving away a Coal Pad courtesy of Tablet World. Now, it's a Coal Pad 2, and it has a 7-inch multi-touch screen. And it's one of these, it's one of these, you know, like these tablets that you have. Everyone's using these wonderful interactive tablets. This is an Android device, and I'm giving one away at the end of January. And if you would like to win one of them, it's very, very easy. Now, you may think I'm not very technical, and maybe I don't always go to Facebook, but I'd like to direct you to Facebook. So just go to www.facebook.com and then type in Niki Seberini talk show host, or it's facebook.com /Conversations with Niki. And then just press like, and I'm going to take all my likes from that page, and I'm going to do a draw at the end of January, beginning of February, and I'm going to be giving away this fantastic Coal Pad 2 with this 7-inch multi-touch touchscreen, and hopefully you will be a winner of that. So just a reminder, go along to the Facebook page and like it, and that's courtesy of Tablet World, your one-stop Android tablet solutions company for individuals, students and colleges. And their website, www.tabletworld.co.za. So I hope I got you excited about entertaining. Vicky gave you some ideas, and I said that I went along on Friday to really a lovely event because I've got a very soft spot for MasterChef South Africa judge Benny. I think it's those dimples. I'm not sure, but I do have a soft spot for Benny Masekwameng, and he was at this function on Friday, and he was actually giving demonstrations on how to make meals. And I thought for a moment, well, hang on, you know, if you're on holiday, you don't want to be planning ahead long in advance, and maybe Benny can come up with one or two easy ideas for us. So I asked him if he'd come onto the show, and he said, well, yes, because he's a great guy. So Benny, welcome. Lovely having you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
How's Cape Town?
Lovely, sunny. There's the vineyards, and then the mountain in the background. Man. Cape Town is beautiful.
Oh, listen, you're no stranger to Cape Town with all the MasterChef 1 and 2. Just very quickly, I mean, MasterChef 2 was a huge success, and you were saying at this function that these young chefs were really, really going beyond boundaries. They were breaking boundaries and creating wonderful dishes.
Yeah, you know what, as expected for season 2, you would have an improvement from season 1. And these guys, I mean, you know, they came in prepared. They studied the judges. They looked at a whole lot of unconventional combinations of food and ingredients, and they came up with really fantastic dishes. So, yeah, I really enjoyed season 2. I was blown away by the talent and the amount of ideas and innovations. And I'm looking forward to season 3, which is going to be even more.
We're all looking forward to season 3. The whole family and the rest of South Africa. Very excited, Benny. I want to ask you, and be honest, when it started and you met everyone, and when it was down to the last few, I mean, did you think to yourself that Carmony would be the winner, or was it really open to anyone taking that title?
You know, you can have favorites and people can be consistent and do wonderful things, but it's ultimately up to the challenge on the day. No matter what they've done, no matter what their talent and what they've produced in the past, it all boils down to what happens on the day for that challenge. So anyone could have taken it. It's, you know, when you bring your A game to the challenge, then you guarantee the final spot at the end. But if not, then yeah, whoever is good on the day is the winner. Any of them could have taken it on the day, but yes, a lot of people had belief that Carmony can take it, and Leandri also, but ultimately it lied with the final challenge.
Well, we're looking forward to season 3. We really are, Benny. So listen, we were chatting to Vicky, and she was giving us some wonderful ideas about, you know, being informal and mixing crockery and using jars to serve cocktails, and just really unusual ideas, which I really enjoyed. So what about, I mean, who wants to think about preparing meals and getting really creative? Are there simple ways of creating delicious meals when one is on holiday?
You know what? I'm glad that we live in this era where a lot of convenience food are available out there in terms of things, not necessarily low-grade stuff and general things that you can get, but you get really innovative ideas from shops and places where it's already done for you, where you just have to put the final touch, where once you taste it, it doesn't really make a difference that you started it from scratch. But when you're on holiday or when you're enjoying your holidays, you don't necessarily want to spend a lot of time behind the stove or in the kitchen. You want to spend time with your friends, your family, your loved ones. So easy to do would be appeal for you to really catch up on what has been happening throughout the year with your family and your loved ones. So
Absolutely.
you want something that is quick. You know, I would say that a lot of people would want to make their own rolls from scratch and do their rubs and seasoning, but you can get those readily done, and you just pop it in the oven and you keep on basting it, maybe with something that you would have made as a basting that is your own personal touch, where you don't necessarily have to debone the whole joint and tie it and stuff, because it's really time consuming. And if you're not a professional, it might take up that valuable time that you could have been spending with your loved one. So I would say go for things that have already been deboned, that have already been portioned, that you just do the final touch, which the cooking part is really 10% of what you do versus prepping time, which is 90% that consumes a whole lot of your time.
Yeah.
So I would go for things that have already been, like I said, tied and deboned and maybe marinated, and then you just make your own little bit of rub and accompaniments to that. The focus is away from the kitchen, but then entertaining like a chef, this Christmas, where, everybody comes in and they think that you've done everything from scratch, but really you just used your creativity and your own wisdom of getting mostly prep stuff. I wouldn't really try and sell it for people, but Woolies and Pick and Pays and also Checkers do a whole lot of ready to eat and, prepared stuff that you can get. But if you have the time, go crazy. Go crazy, just enjoy being an experience with your involved in cutting and starting the fire or,
Benny, we're losing you. Unfortunately, we're losing you. You're coming and you're going. So,
okay.
Are you? Oh, there you are. You're back.
Okay, sorry.
No. I was actually going to just stop you for a moment, because you talk about these rubs, and you say it's convenient and buy the piece of meat or chicken or fish or whatever it is that's already been deboned, and so it's easier for you. Now, something that I saw you prepare on Friday that I was very interested in, it was a piece of fish, and what you did is I always thought that when you cooked fish and you were frying it, that you had to put the fish, the skin down first, and you didn't put that skin down first, you put the other side down first.
No, with cooking, normally the rules that I would go by, which really makes sense, is that you start with the side that you're going to use as your presentation side. Yes. So with the skin, if you start with the skin, then it curls up and then it opens up the fish, because then it pulls it. It pulls it back. While if you start on the bone side, not the skin side, then yes, it'll start because it'll get heated up on the top, and it'll start pulling, but not at a fast rate that it would if you really put it in a hot pan and with oil. Then it just pulls quickly, and then it loses shape a bit. But if you start on the skin side, I always start on the presentation side.
Okay.
If you're going to start on that side where you use the skin as your presentation side, then go ahead. But then it's going to lose shape with that pulling of the skin when it gets in contact with direct heat.
Okay, I love that tip. And also when you're doing a roast, because I always thought that I've never ever cooked a roast in my life, and it looked very simple. You had the sirloin, the piece of sirloin, and the whole thing about the roast is that you brown it first. Is that what you do before you actually put it in the oven?
Yes, you sear it first, sealing it,
okay.
Sealing off all of those juices so it stays nice and moist, but also give it that golden brown color initially, because sometimes if you just put it straight in like that, then it will take a long time for it to get that lovely brown color that we want on the outside, and as a result, it will get overcooked. So rather give it that initial boost with giving it color on the pan. And so when you cook it, if you want it medium, then you still have that color while it didn't really spend too much time in the oven, that it dries out and it becomes more well done than you would have liked it to be.
Now listen, Benny, I'm going to have you on the show again to share some of your delicious recipes, because the meal was outstanding that I had. But unfortunately, we have run out of time, and I know that you're in the middle of a function in Cape Town. So I'm going to let you go back to everyone else, and I'm going to thank you so much for joining us and wish you a wonderful holiday, and hopefully you will come onto the show next year and have an in-depth conversation with me on the show.
Firstly, thank you for having me, and yes, I would love to come into a studio and share a lot of my recipes. And unfortunately, we have such a short, but giveaway recipes. I love sharing recipes and people experiencing exactly, I have, and also share ideas that we both, try, or all of us try. We improve our cooking and improve what we have on a daily basis, so we have a bit of variety.
Great, Benny. Well, I'm looking forward to it. We'll be chatting in the new year. Take care. Thank you, Benny.
Thank you, and have a good Christmas.
Thank you, and you too. Bye-bye. Benny Masekwameng, who is the MasterChef SA judge and also executive chef at Sogo's Son. He will be on the show next year, I do promise you. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I've enjoyed being with you, and I'll be with you same time next week. Take care and look after yourself.
Hi, my name is Esvia Prinsloo, and I'm the HOD of IT Integration at Bridwin Preparatory School in Melrose. We started using study apps about 6 months ago and have seen astonishing results. We were quite amazed to see how quickly the kids have been able to use study apps and the benefits it has shown with regards to reinforcing what they've already learned inside the classroom. I would highly recommend study apps for any school.
Studyapps.co.za. Conversations with Niki was brought to you by Studyapps.co.za, South Africa's leading education app for tablets.